Well, welcome back, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go through my patch rundown right now, and it's a pretty short patch from what I just like glanced over it, I skimmed it real quick, and this is, I guess, the second patch after the preseason release. So, of course, the preseason is gonna bring in a bunch of broken, busted stuff, and I made a little checklist of things I would like to see nerfed on the right. So, just going down the checklist, I'd like to see Rise, Syndra, Ghost Exhaust, Redemption Locket, Jace maybe, probably, First Tower Gold, Rift Herald, and Colossus are the changes that I'd like to see. Stuff that pertains to strictly the patch itself is, or the preseason patch would be Colossus, Redemption, and Locket. At the very least, I'd like to see some nerfs onto those three things. But anyways, let's get this started. This is the patch 6.23 rundown. Oh wow, it actually just takes it off. Uh, I'd have to whatever. It's fine. You don't need that there. We're just gonna go over what's here. So they released Elementalist Lux, the best skin they've ever created. Every one of these legendary skins or ultimate skins are insanely good. This one's packaged 10 skins in one. Pretty good. Uh, I don't really play much Lux, but I know a lot of people who will buy this skin, 100%. So this skin also has a mini rework for Shyvana. I think right now Shyvana is really, really hard to play because she's a champion that gets kited really easily. Like, sure, she has a lot of move speed, but it doesn't really amount to much. It's kind of similar to Volibear, where if you're not getting like a really, really big lead, either you're just kind of useless. You're either unkillable or you're not very effective. And so that's kind of how I think about Shyvana in her current state. And sure, I could see maybe an ability rework or some kind of rework for her because yeah, she needs something. So what did they end up doing? They gave her passive is less resist, um, and she gains stats based on dragons that she kills, and she does more damage to dragons, which is interesting, to say the least. I think that that's definitely a very unique passive. The thing is, it used to be super OP. It used to give you like bonus true damage and all this stuff, but now they kind of given it her just bonus armor and MR. The problem is, it's like I think at most you get 5 dragons or maybe 6 dragons with an elder throughout like an optimal game. Missing extra 30 armor and MR, I guess, isn't that important, but I hope she's not balanced around having like multiple dragon stacks in the game because you're only get if she's strong enough to secure dragon early. I suspect that she's not. Like, I don't think she's going to be a top tier jungler even with any amount of buffs. And so unless she's strong enough to skirmish out the other jungler and secure the dragon, then essentially like all these elemental drakes could read zero because she can't do this unless her team is playing better or her lanes are playing better. Well, not zero, but maybe like a hard to quantify number, like a lower number. Um, let's just keep going. They removed resists from her kit. They added burnout. It no longer leaves a flame trail behind Shyvana, but now it increases her size. So her thing does more damage. I think not leaving the flame trail kind of sucks because it made it so that when you chased Shyvana or when she dove, it was really, really difficult for you to follow up on her because her flame trail did a lot of damage to you. Taking that away, I don't necessarily think they needed to. I read their logic saying that, hey, they wanted Shyvana to do. They thought it was weird that Shyvana's thing was to walk in front of the champion and move up when it should be like you're chasing the person. And I just thought that like sure, but removing the whole flame shell and only making her size increase by 65, 55 doesn't seem like that much of a compensation. But I'm sure there's other stuff. So what else did they do? They updated Flame Breath. Now stops on the first champion hit. Strange, okay. Missile speed is lower, AP ratio is lower. While in Dragon Form, Shyvana can target Flame Breath anywhere within its maximum range. What? While in Dragon Form, Flame Breath explodes when it hits a champion or reaches its target. Oh, because it's a skill shot, leaving behind a flame zone. The new Dragon Form explosive damage stacks with Flame Breath's normal damage and all targets hit. that's a decent amount of extra damage. Extra 1 to 200 damage. It's for 4 seconds. Does it slow? No, it just does damage. The flame zone size increases based on your ulti, and the damage itself is higher as long as you can hit it. So it seems like it's a huge buff in the dragon form, and then while it's like it's a mini form, it's like okay, it's not that awful. And enemies that remain in the flames are persistently marked for flame breath's bonus on hit damage. Huh. So it seems like if there's a way for you to keep people inside her E, then she's gonna do a ton of damage to them. The problem with this is like I look at her kit right now, and I don't see any kind of. Usually, what happens when there's a big explosion is that at somewhere in the kit you'll be given a slow. So I think the best example is Karma. So Karma's kit has a huge explosion, right? Or Mantra Q, and the Mantra Q also has a slow attached to it, and she has a snare, so that you can try to do as much damage with it. And I'm looking at Shyvana's kit, and she still doesn't have a way to slow people down. Like I'm guessing, really going, like whatchamacallit, some silly CC item like Frozen Mallet, or I guess maybe some crazy person's gonna try Rallies on this champion. There's no real way to keep the person in the explosion to do the most amount of damage, but I think maybe the initial damage is high enough to where she's still gonna be pretty good. And the biggest buff to her probably is just this: is she no longer can be stopped out of Dragon's Descent, because this was so bad. It's the equivalent of if you could Thresh Flame Malphite ulti. So just the fact that you can't get knocked out anymore means that it's so much more consistent. Because honestly, yeah, against good players, you would never be able to hit this. If they have any kind of scenes like Zac ultied out, you get Vayne condemned, you would like fly in and then just get like instantly CC kicked out by Lee Sin. And so of all the things I'm like interested in, this is definitely the thing that I'm like, oh, thank God they did this, because her ultimate now feels like it's probably going to be more consistent. I do think it's interesting they added bonus health onto her ulti, so it's really, really strong. It's the equivalent of having bonus health, and especially because bonus health is a really interesting stat. If you use abilities that make you gain bonus health, especially when you're low, you heal. You technically like. I don't know about heal, but it's like a really easy way to bait people. You can do it a lot with Renekton. In fact, this champion reminds me a little bit about Renekton as is. At least this the health portion of it. The dragon range gets slightly bigger attack range, probably not enough to do that much. And dragon form is 8 to 16% larger. I like the fact that the dragon increases in size as you scale up. That's definitely a very interesting scaling mechanic. I don't think there's any other mechanic in the game that makes you bigger as your levels increase. The only thing I can think of is really Cho'Gath, where as your stacks increase, your champion becomes bigger. But I don't think it affects his whatchamacallit auto attacks, range, or any of that. Honestly, it's hard for me to really evaluate the strength of Shyvana, because I think that Shyvana itself, I don't see her played at all right now. She's a champion that just isn't very good at the moment. But I remember when she used to be disgustingly good. You would just first pick Shyvana, you'd power farm, and you would never be able to 1v1 her because she is just way too much damage 1v1, even without her ulti. So I don't want it to go back to that state. However, having her maybe situationally be played is good. And now that Vi is kind of coming back to the Colossus, I think that maybe it'd be nice to see Shyvana return as well. Anyways, let's keep going a little bit. Akali. So I thought Akali got massively nerfed with her rework, but a lot of people told me, oh, Akali's not that bad. And I'm just like, are you sure? The ulti base damage, the cooldown ulti just seemed really, really bad. And it looked like they took away a little bit of her sustain early as well. And so what are they going to do? They just literally just buffed everything. So they buffed her AP ratios on her passive. They lowered the energy cost of W, which I think is really good, because that was definitely a limiting factor, because you're going to be skilling that last, right? So it's like you're essentially gaining 20 energy over a period of like 13 levels, which is great. Or just overall, because it stops at 40 energy. And I think this is actually the biggest buff to her. The Twilight Shroud slightly hopping her was really, really nice. And probably the biggest quality of life buff to Akali. and Crescent Slash going up just means that it does a little bit more damage. I think that this will help her a little bit, and I don't think that she was in too bad of a spot before, but definitely these help her damage nerfs out from her ulti. I still think maybe 2 seconds on cooldown, 2 second cooldown ulti is a little bit too long, and maybe it can at least give her back 1.5 seconds. But that's their own prerogative. I haven't played the new Akali, so I don't want to talk too much about her because I don't want to say I've only seen or played against her, so I don't want to speak out of my ass. I just want to say that I thought she was a little bit weak, and these buffs will help her bring up her relative strength a little bit. Anivia, sure. Oh, wow. They're buffing Anivia? Okay. Oh, they're nerfing her. You can't immediately use R into E? Oh, that sucks. That's her main harass pattern. So it makes it so the ulti fully forms in 1.5 seconds. The damage goes down by a lot. And Empowered Storm doubles. Oh, so it's supposed to be that when the storm gets bigger, the damage increases. So it rewards people for being able to keep people in certain areas more. This is definitely a big problem because when I play Anivia, this is like the easiest way to do damage. You E them, you ulti right under them as your E travels there, and it's boom, 350 damage, and there's no counterplay for them. And if you Q and you wall them, you're pretty much guaranteed the ability to get it off. Now though, you take so much. I think it still might be okay. It just means you need Q to confirm. So it's definitely a big nerf to her. Um, it might make her a little bit healthier for the game overall, though. However, yeah, no, definitely. I don't want to say anything. This is definitely a really, really, like a pretty sizable nerf to her. The only good thing on top of all this is they actually buffed Crystallize by a lot. I can't believe they lowered it by this much. 17 seconds. If you do itemize any kind of CDR in her kit, you can get it down to 10. Less than 10. Crystallize is an amazing ability. One of the best utility moves in the game, and Crystallize helps you get the situations where you can land your Q and keep them in your ulti. So I can understand them buffing this while making you try to stay in your ulti more. The idea itself makes sense. I feel maybe a little bit bad for Anivia mains over the years because this has like been a core harass ability for her. But maybe this is better because I do understand that, yeah, it's really hard to counterplay this type of damage, and having to them at least have confirming the Q to get the E damage is okay. It's not that bad. Now Froggy will still smash people on this champ. I think Anivia mains will still be fine, but it's definitely just weaker. Especially because there's a lot of champions that can get out of this type of glacial storm instantly, uh, and so it's really only okay if you hit them immediately at the very beginning. But anyways, let's keep going. Evelyn, Shadow Screen no longer displays a grade 10 on Evelyn's screen with camouflage. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing. Okay. Katarina, stop walking away from your target. Movement commands are canceled if Shumpo targets a plant or enemy champion. Oh, that's a nice quality of life buff. I think it'd also be cool if there was a bigger animation for Shumpo because it literally just feels like I'm like instantly teleporting to them. Even Flash is a more distinct animation than Shumpo. Like if Flash at least has little bright lights. Even as the player playing Cat, I'm just like I just teleported to them. I think having a bit better visual cue would be nicer for me and nicer to play against. But let's keep going. Cat, final sparks indicator has been widened to be easier to read. Oh, it's just to help colorblind readability. Okay, that's nice. It's not a big. It's just nice. Quality of life buff. Malzahar. Voidlings deal more damage, but don't multiply as frequently. Malzahar can now store 2 charges of Void Storm. Love them or hate them, damage output can be confusing. Alright, so it's easier to kill in lane because you're able to... Oh, they're like Zyra plants, so you have to do 3 autos to kill them. 300 damage to... Oh, what the heck? Does 300 damage to minions affected by Malefic? That means you have to kill them. Like, I didn't realize this is actually so strong. If you can't kill the Void Lane, it'll clear the wave instantly. Like, his wave clear is even better. But I think this really makes you have to focus the Void Lane. Because before it used to be, okay, well, some people wouldn't focus the Void Lane, it like multiply, it'd be really, really obnoxious. And I think that now they're forcing you to hit the Void Lane. Because if you kill it on the first spawn, before it spawns any more Void Lanes, it's like a dead spell. So I think though it's gonna be very, very hard to do that because it has Zyra plants are incredibly annoying to kill, and because you have charges, there's no way you can kill both of them at the same time. I think this might actually end up being just kind of a buff to the champion. It means that you kind of have to store Void Lanes over time, but you can use it in more controlled manners, which is better for the mouse player as well. I don't even know if this is a nerf. I actually think that this might be better for the mouse, strictly better. As long as you summon both at the same time, so it's harder for the enemy person to clear it. Okay. Keep going. Orianna. We're reverting a bug that allowed Orianna to chain her abilities in a way that's too hard to react. Oh, it's because you can buffer the Q, the W. When you do QW on Orianna, the W damage lands before the Q. And that's just how it's coded right now. So they're making it so that you have to wait for the ball to land before the W goes off. I think that's nice. It means that you can dodge it. It gives you slightly more time to dodge it. So I think that the W damage landing first is kind of stupid. So it's just, I think this is more like a bug fix. And that's exactly what they're classifying it as. Rengar, fix the buff that caused Bluetooth Necklace to stop working if it was revived through G or ulti. Okay, bug fix. Shen, right now his base stats are too low. His dueling power, yeah, he's really bad at dueling. So what does he do? He gets armor and health growth. Ooh, really, really nice buffs to Shen. These are the kind of buffs that don't seem that important, but you give in like what? It's like 12 health a level. You're giving an extra 100 health at like level 8. And like a bit of armor. Every small bit helps. And Shen's already such a hard champion to balance because he has a global in his kit. So these definitely help any kind of Shen mains. All three of you guys out there, this will be pretty good. Oh. We originally changed Dark Procession's cast behavior to 6.2 to give York players snappier, more reactive W cast times. We knew accuracy would take a small hit, but trap ended up being more problematic. Oh, he walks into range to cast W rather than doing it at max range in the target direction. Okay, that's fine. I think it's just for behavior reasons. Items, Bork. On-hit damage increased. Bork has been out of the spotlight for a while. Yes, because you guys nerfed it. Should be on the go-to item for basic. So they buffed it by 2%. I think this will help a lot because a lot of the players really complained to me before, like, Scarra, dude, what do you think about Fervor being nerfed? All these on-hit champions, I can't play my champ anymore. I think that rather than buffing Fervor, which I think, back to the old state, which I think would be a balanced nightmare, instead they're buffing Bork. It's definitely really interesting. I think this is really very nice for the champions to obviously attack a lot. So champions like Aurelia, Jax are going to be using this item yet again. You might see it on Nocturne, you might see it on Zed again. I think that the item itself is pretty weak, and 2% is a decent buff. It's not something crazy like 10% or 12%. It's just a sizable buff. Like, it'll be very interesting to see how balanced this item is. So, Rageblade just gets... Oh, you lose 25% attack speed combined. I didn't even realize. So you just get 25% attack speed on top. It's nice. I think the only person who builds Rageblade right now is Kale, but you might see a little bit more in terms of build path for other champions. Honestly, I don't know who would build this champ. Right now, I only think of Kale, but maybe like in some really weird world, Diana might build it, or Teemo. I've seen Teemo's build this. So it's a very niche item, and it should be in my situation. But this is definitely like just a flat buff to the item. Sterix. I haven't seen this item in ages, except for on Aurelia. So the combined cost they just buffed it. It costs 100 gold less. Aurelia's seen a lot of good buffs. Actually, oh, Kog'Maw would use this. That's not bad. Kog'Maw, Aurelia, all of these items for those three are not bad. Maybe Aurelia might try out Rage Blade now because it's not a big deal. But I think that some of these items are very, very well positioned for the attack speed champions. Lord Dan's Vamp. Oh, I don't play Twisted Tree Lance. I don't even know what this means. Summoner's Rift. Living Jungle. Plants are now immune to critical strikes and lifesteal. Okay. Fix a bug where Hecarim E would launch it forward instead of backwards. Okay. Honey Fruit tags you. Okay, this is all bugs. XP. Jungle Experience. Less XP on the Big Raptor, more XP on the Mini Krugs. Okay, so it'll force you to do... If you do the golems, it'll help you out a lot. Wow, the nerf was by 50. Holy moly, that's a pretty sizable nerf early. And the lesser Krugs give you 10 each. That's really good. Well, I don't know if it's good. I think it's more balanced this way because a lot of people are skipping golems, and but it's hard to say. We'll have to see what it happens in games. But I personally was skipping golems a lot. Teleport and recall is interrupted by someone other than yourself. The camera will snap to your location. Oh, this is actually a really big buff to me because I'm the guy who probably dies the most while my camera's panned to the shop or somewhere off, middle of nowhere. I'm like backing and I'm reading chat and responding to something, and then I died. I'll just be like, what happened? So this will probably help me the most, and hopefully it'll help out a lot of other people. Replays is now enabled. I don't use the new client, so I'll use it later. At the moment, I'm still waiting for them to polish it up more. Autofill has been enabled in all queues with position preference. There's a low chance you receive one of the positions you guys select. Queue times will be significantly reduced. Autofill has been enabled in all draft queues at all times. Okay, well that's no different for me. This is actually, I get autofilled every day, so there's no different for any of that. And bug fixes, I usually don't read these because there's only like 1 of the 10 that's really impactful. Okay. Overall, the patch itself seems okay because it buffs some of the weaker champions and nerfs some of the stronger ones. It's mainly just buffs to weaker champions. I'm okay with the patch as is. However, notice in my original notepad, which I'll bring up right here, these are kind of things I wanted to see nerfed in this patch, and I didn't get a single one of them nerfed. So like at the very least, I think that for patch specific stuff in terms of preseason stuff and not everything else, it's the Colossus, the Redemption Locket I like to see tuned. And maybe wind speakers, but none of that really got touched. So I guess my checklist is just completely useless. I hope these things get tuned in future patches because I think all of these things are way too strong. Anyways, overall the patch, I like patches that buff champions upwards rather than nerfing top tier champions downwards unless they're just super oppressive. I think that happened a lot with like the Bork buffs, Sterix, and either buffs apply to a lot of champions that can use it, and the buffs to Akali and Shyvana are all helpful, with the nerfs to Anivia being maybe kind of the only weird thing here. I'm not sure what to think about that. Let's move on to Camille. So this champion, I think it's supposed to be an assassin. It looks like a bruiser. Elite operative who maintains the order for Piltover's established powers. Sure. Her basic attacks grant a shield against her opponent's primary damage type. The shield strength increases based on her max HP. Wait, it scales on her back. Okay, so if you auto them, you get a shield, and it increases base. So she's supposed to be a bruiser. Like you're supposed to build health on her. Okay, it's like maybe Aurelia or Jax. Interesting passive. I just think of it as defensive passive. Okay. Precision Protocol. Next basic attack slashes the enemy for bonus physical damage, grants a short burst of movement speed. Brief period after the initial cast, she can recast it for an additional strike. If she waits for a short period of time, the second attack will deal bonus damage and is partially converted to... Why does everything do true damage? Oh, so if you... And because her Q gives her movement speed on the first hit, you're able to keep chasing people while doing this. Okay, I think it's fine. I just think it's funny that it does bonus true damage, but it's fine. It's cool. It visually looks great. Tactical sweep. She gathers energy to blast a forward in a cone, dealing physical damage, so 2 physical damage abilities. All targets hit. Enemies caught in the outer half of the sweep will be greatly slowed and take additional damage based on... It does percentage max HP damage, and it heals. What? Okay, so this is a very unique mechanic because there's 2 layers of the cone. There hasn't been a mechanic like this since Darius Q, where only the outer layer of Darius Q does like the hefty damage, and so you do huge slow and additional damage, as well as healing. Definitely a very unique aspect. I think that this will help her a lot because this is the help for you to chase people down. Because as they're running away, obviously they're only going to be hitting in the outer half. So if you stay to scrap her, she has like shields based on this, and she does bonus true damage. So she wants you to stay next to her. Overall, this seems really powerful. Not only is it AoE slow, it also does AoE damage, maximum health damage, and it heals her. So it's just like the full shebang in terms of ability. Like it has almost everything you'd want. Hook shot. So this is, I saw the video of this. It's her mobility move in a target direction. Stops at the first champion hit, stunning all enemies in the area. Oh, she'll gain bonus attack speed if she gets to a champion, and the range is increased if it's toward a champion. So strange. Okay, I'm sure the stun is only like 1 second or so, but wow. So let's just list off what this champion has so far. She has health scaling shield, bonus true damage ability, movement speed true damage ability, percentage maximum health heal, AoE, and a mobility move that technically is 2-pronged, and it does AoE, stuns, and increases her attack speed. So she literally has like, her kit seems fairly overloaded. It has almost everything you want in a kit. Maybe the reason it has that is because she's so weak that you need all of the things in her kit to be able to make her strong. And if that's the case, then that's very unique of them to do. What I worry about is that rather than you needing all like 5 or 6 steroids, offensive and defensive steroids, you probably only need 2 to kill the guy and be unkillable. So I'm worried about the balance for this champion, but she seems sick. Like, I'll be playing this champ for sure. And her ulti, Hex Tech Ultimatum, jumps on the target champion, imprisoning them in a zone, knocking away their allies. So it sends out ulti. Okay. When the ultimatum is active, the targeted enemy can't leave the area by any means. Wait, including flash? And while in the zone, she does bonus additional magic damage. Alright. Oh, sick. It knocks everyone out of the zone so they can't come in. I don't know if they can't come in, but I just know that I think this is I think this is a really cool mechanic. It's similar to Thresh ulti in that like it forces you to engage her. Like she wants you to fight her. And she has the tools to make you fight her. She has like movement speed, you know. She has movement speed slow, and she has like hook gap closers. She can and will force you to fight her. However, if you look at her overall kit, she's forced to go in. The champion has to be built as a bruiser because she doesn't seem like she actually teamfights that well. I think she's more like a 1v1 small skirmish bruiser. But if he gets into the big teamfight stuff, like have you ever teamfight with Aurelia or Jax before where you literally just get like one hit instantly because the other team has like either 3 CCs or it has like Janna, Karma, Exhaust, and you can't do anything? She's going to fall into this similar thing. So I don't know if she's going to be super unbalanced because it seems like just generally she can't teamfight that well, except for like her ulti gives her the biggest teamfight thing, right? Because you force a person to not be able to leave a zone and pushes everyone away. But outside of that, the rest of her kit doesn't seem very impressive. Like if I had released Xin Zhao right now, everyone would have been like, "Wow, dude, Xin Zhao's so broken. He has an AOE. He has an AOE slow. He has like a knockup. He has attack speed. He has like a heal on his auto attacks. His auto attacks also crit on his W, and his ulti knocks people away, and he gains armor and MR. But when you think about it, honestly, that champ sucks. Actually, so there's a lot more than just listing off what she gets that will make the champion good. I like to see her numbers on her kit to really get like a finalized issue, but at least differently from Xin Zhao, I feel like she has maybe better defensive steroids to compensate with both like an AoE heal as well as like a shield onto her kit. Anyways, the champ mainly just seems a lot fun to play. Very similar to like an assassin, but more like an assassin bruiser kind of hybrid. This is the type of champ that's like right up my alley. I'll play this champ for sure. Overall, the champ seems pretty fun. Good at pursuing and slaying single targets. See, that's exactly what I imagined with her champion. Strengths and weaknesses. It's pretty much exactly what I'd expect. In-game clips. I'd like to see what she looks like in-game. Hook shot. Hook shot. Hook shot. Hook shot. Okay. That's pretty cool. Wait. Oh, she can cut through walls? Oh, that's so sick. Actually, that's so cool. I didn't realize she could do that. Wait, did she just do it again? Oh, she did. Oh, that's actually sick. Her E can go through walls. Okay, that's a really unique mobility option. Oh, dude, she actually plays... Look at her damage is garbage. What is that damage to Nami? What the heck? If I was Talon, I would have killed her already. She literally doesn't even do 30% of Nami's health. She must have built full tank. But the champion itself just seems like a disruptive engage. So maybe it's not so much that she's like a bruiser or assassin, but she's essentially just a tanky disruptive initiator. And that's fine. I think that's fine. But her damage is complete garbage. What is this damage to Nami? Like, yeah, sure, she's really mobile, but holy shit. If I had Ivern and Jan on my team, she wouldn't even be able to break the first shield. Okay. Champion itself looks like a lot of fun. I'll definitely play it. It seems like her damage is a lot lower, but she's just supposed to be... She might just be a frontline damage fighter. I think that's cool. Anyways, I'm going to get queued up. I'm going to go play some ads, and I will be right back.